Hey, how's it, guys? Okay, no fancy intro on me on my surfboard but with my ukulele. Let's just get right to this. I can't tell you how bombed I've been getting about Sleep Token's latest release, which is this one here called The Summoning. And not only was I getting a condiments. I just got through eating big hamburgers, so maybe that's on my mind right now. Comments, DMs, my email, everything was like, dude, you gotta check it. I'm like, let's do this. So I just came back in from the beach, take a little break, have my cup of coffee with me, and let's go. All right, here we go. This is Sleep Token, The Summoning. All right. Geez, just when I was about to say, well, look, this is getting to be a really big ambient, genty kind of vibe where the guitars are kind of not necessarily the power principle as much as it is mixed in well, and all these things I get ready to say, and then they just hit it with that. And first of all, what was that screaming about? Is that I've only had a few Sleep Token on this channel, but I've never, or I can't recall his vocals powering out like that. So if that's a new dimension for them along with this sound, it's absolutely sick. Very ambient. As grindy and punchy as this track is, and the great sound of the guitars, man, there's magic in getting that chugginess. I can't get it, but then again, I don't spend tens of hundreds of hours trying to, tone tutelage my guitars and stuff like that. It's just so powerful, but it's not intrusive. So I think the crossover for me is that people who love ambient power rock is now going to get a really big, punch of metal into the formula, if you would, which would make it, because it's not so thrusted out in front of you, make it a hell of a lot more accessible, I think, to a lot of listeners. Plus, the ambient thing, I think, is going to be a really big thing this year with a lot of bands. As a matter of fact, that's just not my take. As a matter of fact, I heard Nick Nocturnal mention something like that, and I think Finn McKenty, and maybe they were on the same show doing something or something like that. But the darkness and the heaviness, along with the ambience, is very soul penetrating and real dark. And then that last section, where they decided to go with the gear shift, and then they kicked up that powerful, genty, bone crushing riff, lock and load kind of vibe, and also the messing around with the syncopation and the timing and stuff like that. It's pretty square, but there's a lot of great syncopation going on in there. Anyhow, let's go. You know, it's that they giveth and they pull it away fast. So, man, it is so soulful, heavy, wrenching ambience. Is there such a thing? Because ambience and ethereal typically are vibes that make you want to kind of glide and float and stuff, but they have such a way of infusing darkness. Badass on the piano parts that are in the back. Now, part of the layering that I'm hearing in this that's making it ambient is you have these great guitar, you know, crunchy riffs that are going on there, or the chugs that are happening, you know, keeping us in that, you know, this mode. But in the back, even along with some of the chords that are being held out a little bit for the chorus or for the hook, there's these, not only the piano, you saw me go like this, there's a couple of sections where they the keyboard arrangement stood out a little bit more, but they're following along, it seems like, with these keyboards and whatever else they might be using for that richer kind of like suspended ambient vibe that's going on in the background. Remember how I talk about that sometimes it's tails of certain pads or how much reverb they put on something, but then they take it away by even going double down harder on what we just heard than even that first break. Even this one is more darker and just, you know, kind of a thing. Okay, I'm sorry, but that was a super trip. That I definitely wasn't expecting that ending. Before I talk about that ending, I know I just made that face just because I'm still trying to process it. I loved how they brought us into a complete ambient, ethereal vibe. I've been talking about this through the whole cut. And all of a sudden, all the drums and everything drops out, and now the keyboardist is dropping in these really super chill, what I call motion ambient. They're not drones, but these kind of padded vibes, or not vibraphone, but these pads that have these long tails, or very ASMR channel sounding, not ASMR things with the microphones, whatever. Maybe I'm using the wrong term. The channels that specialize in just like an hour, 2 hours of, very chill music that lays back over images. You know if you know. So I was expecting to come back in, and that was going to be a really nice little, glide before they came in with all just pistons firing. And then they hit us with this kind of retro Motown-y funk kind of vibe. At least that's what it was to me, except the bottom end was super sick. So the bass was there, but it sounded like it wasn't overdubbed, maybe with a keyboard that had a matching wah vibe or a guitar per se. And also his vocals got, I don't know if I'm hearing it better now because there's not so much going on, but the vocals has a sizzle on it. So I don't know if that's post effect, which doesn't matter because without a doubt, he's an incredibly ginormous, powerful singer. And those background vocals too were insane on some of the intervals in the harmonies. This is what it sounds like like Sleep Token's about, is exploiting the intervals in their compositions to give you as much space to enjoy their work, but for them as musicians to be able to create and intertwine these unique arrangements and textures through it. I don't know where that all just came from. It was like a stream of consciousness just went bleh. All right, I think maybe I'm doing too much today. I'll take some time off. All right, guys, I hope you got something out of this with me. Thank you so much. Cups of coffee, all the links are down below. I am now joining Twitch. That link will be down below as well. And yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't know why I keep looking over here. I know why. I forgot to put away my mate. You know if you know. You guys take care. Have a killer day. See ya. All right.